EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a game day edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. It's Eagles, Chargers, Monday Night Football, the battle of two 8-4 teams, AFC versus NFC. Tonight on Monday Night Football, a good week 14 and a lot of drama in the college world. Plenty to talk about here this morning. Johnny Mack, how you doing this Monday morning, my friend?
Doing well. It's been a long time since the Eagles have played. I'm sick of these mini buys, short weeks, long weeks, extra weeks. We're doing Monday shows. There's a game on Monday nights. What a goofy schedule. But high profile team I've talked about. That's your lot in life. It's better than being a crappy team that nobody cares about. So got to put that in perspective.
No doubt about it. John, we're going to talk about plenty of things this morning. We will have a couple non-Eagles topics. There'll be football, don't worry. But we will talk about them a little bit. We'll have Jeff Perr on. I'm sure he'll have some raging about something this morning, as he always does. John, let's start on the Birds, though, and just get some of the updates from this game for those just checking in on the show. And obviously, I want to post out a nice segment for everybody to get ready for the game tonight. And then we'll get into some of those other topics. What is the latest, John? We talked to you Friday. We got reports on Nick Sirianni being more involved in the play calling. We've installed the blow-up bunny doll in the
the vibe bunny, the positivity bunny.
Saquon says the energy on the sidelines is atrocious. Any other thing that Eagles made news on this weekend, John?
We had Chris Sims going nuclear on Jalen Hurts as well, as being the issues with the offense. And again, the issues with the offense are not about one person layered, all that kind of stuff. But I do think, more, and that's a good thing overall. And I should imagine, only because it popped up in my feed, every time the Eagles don't play, good things happen for them. Geno Smith got hurt, Las Vegas. Poor Zach Ertz, just a devastating injury. Could be a career ender for Zach Ertz. Jaden Daniels got hurt again. So every time they don't play, good things happen, and not from the injury perspective, especially with Zach. Everybody loves that guy. But you get my point from just a pure football perspective. So, I don't know if good things are going to continue on the field, but good things are happening off the field with their schedule, which looks very, very light after tonight. So, point I'm trying to make, even if they lose this game, I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't start, jumping off bridges. They still got a clear and easy path to that number 3 seed. Now, Green Bay beat Chicago. So now that's good for you because Green Bay's on top and you have the tiebreaker over Green Bay. So you can start talking about that if you're going to run the table and all that kind of stuff. So mostly positive news from that perspective. As far as the circus tent and all the stuff you said, the good stuff, the positivity bunny, who cares? You make people smile and it worked. Big bunny, big blow up bunny. For whatever reason, AJ Dillon bought an Easter bunny and blew it up. And I tweeted out a picture of the positivity bunny. I'll try to retweet that if people don't know what I'm talking about. But
AJ Dillon is the purchaser of the positivity.
Yes,
bunny?
yes,
Right.
yes, he is. And just trying to, as I said, make everybody smile. It's not that big of a deal. It's not some kind of, I saw Zach Berman compare it to Major League where they're doing these things, the movie, and no, it wasn't thought of as some kind of all-encompassing team. It was just a guy trying to make people laugh. So that's all it was. And
you are a lover of the positivity bunny. Let's just get that correct.
I thought it worked. It made a lot of people laugh and smile. So if that was the goal, I think it succeeded, and I think that was the goal. So, yeah, but I don't think it's a big deal at all. Just, it's a grind. The NFL season is a grind. You come in every day, and especially, I've joked at all the Eeyores, and I just retweeted the positivity bunny, but all the Eeyores and all the depressed and all the misery and all the oh, the quarterback can't do this, and Nick Sirianni's taking over and more in the offensive meetings and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So and by the way, the Sirianni stuff, I don't think that excites anybody because they think he's a bozo just like Kevin Petullo. And I use that bozo on purpose because it's kind of comical that everybody thinks these guys can't coach, and yet, they win so much, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I digress.
Well, we've had our best run of Eagles football in the Nick Sirianni era, so you can have your gripes about him, but you can't take that away from him.
If you read Tim's report, and it was Tim McManus from ESPN, I mean, basically Nick is talking more at the start of offensive meetings and then handing over the meeting to Kevin Petullo, who runs the meeting and is staying the play caller. So not much has changed other than he's trying to motivate them more. He's trying to get the messaging across. The messaging this week from multiple team sources was basically stop pointing fingers. Everybody's got a piece of their struggles offensively. And that's sort of like, and then Nick cedes to Kevin, who runs the meeting. But
it is evidence, though, of maybe some cracks. The Eagles have always been like they kind of act like some of the things that the media talks about is like foreign to them, but it's clearly not.
Oh, that's a lie. Yeah,
I know it's a lie, but this isn't it clear.
Well, you can see it on Hard Knocks, where he acknowledges, I think of Saquon, one of them acknowledged, and you watched the show. I just saw clips.
Yeah, I think it was Brandon Graham you're talking about here.
The sky is falling or whatever outside.
Oh yeah, somebody, they didn't show who that was, but I heard
So what it does is, like, a couple of years ago, I used this example when they were struggling on special teams, and it was sort of their big fix was Christian Ellis, who, by the way, is having a good year with the Patriots. That dude, you see some of the hits he had in that?
He's had some big hits.
And they really improved it on special teams, and Nick took more of a focus on that. The point is, I don't think this is that rare. Like, I think that's his whole role as a CEO coach. Like, if the defense is struggling, he'd be paying more attention to the defense, and you can argue the defense is struggling, by the way. But that's a different question. Now, I'm not going to say they obviously have more confidence in Vic Fangio. I'm not going to. That's obvious. But I don't think this is too out of character. Now, if he took over running the meeting, then I think it's a bigger deal. But as Tim reported, that is not the case. So basically, he's just, trying to get everybody out of Eeyore mode and trying to fix this stuff together, which is, more difficult than perhaps it would seem to the outside public, because, again, you got a bunch of different guys, bunch of different personalities, bunch of different thoughts on why things are going bad, just like the fan base. These are like individual, I'm not fans, but individual people with their own take on situations. So getting as many of them on the same page as possible is sometimes difficult when things are not going the way you want them to go.
Well, the good news here is, I think the only way to fix a problem is to first identify it. So at least they know that the offense sucks. I don't like when they act like they're like, I don't know what everybody's talking about in the media. The offense, that's a good thing, in my opinion. Will Sirianni's additional help that he's provided, or as it was worded, he got more involved in the offense this week coming off the mini bye. Will that help? Will it do anything to the success of the offense, I guess, is the question, John?
Well, that part is I don't think has changed much. Like their goal this whole time, and to point, I think there's an important distinction between what they say in public and what they say in private. And it wasn't like they thought there were no issues in private. I mean, it's been a constant attempt to get this running game going, and to be more effective on first and second downs. And the whole goal this entire time has been to get in third and manageable. And if it's third and manageable, they're a good offensive football team. That has been sort of the thought process in the building. But they know they're not good on first and second down, so they know they're not good offensively, because they haven't been able to get in third and manageable. And that's been the goal the entire time. And that's why I constantly been saying on the show that, why everybody said, well, are they going to toggle to the passing game? No, no, no. They want to get the running game going. And that's where some of the Chris Sims stuff comes in. You know, the horse is out of the barn there in week 14. That's an off-season discussion. If you want to change overriding philosophies and change your entire offense, you can't do that in week 14. You can make tweaks. You can do some different things, and they already have. The under center stuff, little bit more play action. And I do think as you get later in the season, and we are later in the season, and you've already started to see it, the quarterback running game comes back into it a little bit more, which will help the team. And I think, you know, now that they've gotten to that point, the whole point of restricting Jalen Hurts' running early in the season was to get him healthy late in the season.
Well, what do you
now
make
they're there.
What do you make of what Chris Sims had to say? For those who don't know, Chris Sims was on his show, one of his shows, and he was asked by Kevin Clark about the Eagles' offensive problems. And as you said in the open, John, he kind of went nuclear here and is like, I'm done hearing Tulo, I'm done hearing it Sirianni. He says the blame deserves to be on the quarterback. That's it. It was a 6-minute long, conversation. So it's worth listening to the whole thing if you want to listen to it. If you don't, I don't really care.
Yeah, well,
That's what he had to say, though. John, what do you make of those comments from Chris Sims?
Well, the only thing I disagreed with is it's all his fault. It's not all his fault, but he's the biggest part of it, which we've been talking about on this show for a long time. I don't know how many times I could say on this show that it's a very simple offense. It's not complex. It never has been, no matter who your favorite coordinator was. You know, effectiveness doesn't make it more creative. Every single time they have scaled it back. They try to evolve in the offseason and they scale it back in season. And that is because the quarterback isn't comfortable doing certain things. They're scaling back to what he is comfortable with and what he does well. And he does a lot of things well. And they've never won at this level in the history of the franchise. So it doesn't have to look like the way you want it to look if you're successful. And they have been successful playing a simple style of football,
but it's fair to say the success that they've had with this style of offense does need more factors in their favor, right?
Well, not if they could execute properly on first and second down and get the running game going. I think they would be just as competent as they were last year, if they could get that part.
I mean, you always said teams don't want to play this way because it's hard to do that year in and year out. It's hard to have a perfect offensive line every year. It's hard to have.
I agree. I say that constantly, and you know, people are going to talk about the Chargers run game tonight coming off 281 yards against the Bears.
Yeah.
Giving up there. A lot of people are going to talk about that. I guarantee you Vic's and his offense is like, all right, go ahead and run it. I'll take it.
Even with Jaylen Carter?
Yeah.
I don't know how good they're going to stop that
because, and this is borne out by all the advanced numbers, because passing the football, if you do it well, is far more efficient than running the football if you do it well. That's simple.
Right.
And that's why most teams want to play a different style of football. Now, whether you call it zigging when everybody else is zagging, is how he has said it before, and it worked once, and it's not going to work again, possibly. But again, that's not something you toggle to in week 14. You know, if you fail in this season ultimately, and I whatever your description is as failure, I certainly don't think they're going to collapse down the stretch with this schedule.
I mean, they shouldn't, right? They got the damn Commanders twice who look like they can't. I mean, they look awful. And then you got the Raiders. I mean, it feels like they should at least win 3.
You might have Kenny Pickett starting for the Raiders at Lincoln Financial Field. I mean, like I said, and yeah, Washington. I mean, that was dead team versus dead team, and they got shut out by the Minnesota Vikings and JJ McCarthy. So that's as bad as a loss as you're going to have. They seem to have cashed in their chips. And as I mentioned, Zach Ertz gets hurt. Daniels gets hurt again.
Brutal.
Which, by the way, Marcus Mariota might be playing better anyway right now, but he didn't look good. But, coming into the game is different than preparing.
Yeah, right.
But either way, that's not a good football team. You're talking yourself into if you're concerned about them. And then Buffalo is, they had a great win, exciting win, snow game. They always do that. But boy, Josh Allen's got to play like Superman to win every stinking game.
Well, he did in the fourth quarter there. Holy God, what a hell of a game that was.
Yeah, and I'm by no stretch am I saying the Bills can't beat them out there, because they certainly can. But they're not a dominating team, is what I'm trying to say. So the schedule's very easy moving forward, especially if you win this game. And my original point is, like, they're going to try to run the ball even more so. And we still don't know if Justin Herbert's going to play. That is a very serious injury and very serious surgery to be back in 7 days. They get the extra day. I assume that hurts. I assume he's going to try to play because he's a tough guy. But so it might be Trey Lance. Imagine if it's Trey Lance.
It's Trey Lance, and we should beat the brakes off this team.
Well,
we don't have the offense to beat the brakes off.
I don't know if they have the offense, but yeah, especially their defense is good. I mean, Derwin James, one of the best defensive players in football. Tui Pelotu, his brother used to play here. Great player. Khalil Mack is still a difference maker in obvious passing situations, even though, his age. They were very good defense. I think third in the NFL. Very good defense. So, this is probably not the game to get the offense right, except from the standpoint it's indoors, pseudo indoors at SoFi. Interesting stadium, but obviously good weather. So you don't have to worry about the wind and all that kind of stuff, which has been an issue. So from that standpoint, it should be a little cleaner, but it's hard to imagine them going nuclear on this defense. So wouldn't get my hopes up from there, but it is a good chance for the Eagles defense to get back on track.
No doubt. John, what'd you make of the Saquon Barkley comments? I think these came on Saturday. The energy on the sidelines during the games has been awful, he said. And then he kind of said it's been good at practice. We got to translate it to a game. Probably has something to do with the fact that the offense can't move the ball to save their life, and they're like top of the league in 3 and outs and all those different things. What'd you make of those comments from Saquon Barkley?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a lot of context to that. And I was right next to him when he said that. And it was honestly, I think it's been awful. And as soon as I heard it, I said, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, right.
And people were going to clip that and stop it right there. But there was a lot of context to it. And what he was saying is they haven't played well. So everybody's Eeyore on the sideline, basically. So he mentioned the energy's great, walkthroughs, meetings. Now we got to carry that over. Later, he explained, we haven't been playing well. It's easy to come out on the sideline and have great energy when you rip off a 60-yard touchdown. That's just the truth. We know that, and execution fuels emotion. People hate that word, but it's right. I can't believe I've never heard that until I came here, but I remember Stout saying it, Jeff Stoutland saying, wow, that makes so much sense. I think that's in everything, not just in football, but in life. So in essence, what he was saying is, yeah, the energy on the field hasn't been great because we're not playing well. And they have to execute, which I know people don't want to hear, but that's the reality of the situation. He wasn't saying the energy stinks because there's a bunch of bad guys.
Yeah, right.
It's they're not playing well. So I'm glad you brought up some of that context because I haven't paid that much attention, but I'm sure a bunch of people clipped that one quote and went I'm saying that too much today for some weird reason. And went with it as they tend to do. You know, the aggregators.
To me, it does show the domino effect of when you don't play well and the offense can't get going for extended periods of time, as we've seen this year. The defense is doing everything they can to hold on. The energy on the sideline has been awful, as Saquon Barkley says. That to me is what that highlights, where you got to get going because of what you just said, where it's a passionate game. And execution fuels that, like you mentioned. Teams got to get going a little bit more, John, to fix that. Now,
Oh yeah,
said than done.
yeah.
I do think it is a factor in games when everybody becomes like that on the sideline.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a factor.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about where I think a lot of people took it, which was we get a bunch of D-bags on the sidelines. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. But that's the nature, and Saquon's got to be careful with that stuff, because people will clip it and they will run with it, and they have run with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon had another comment of like he's excited for the game. I forget exactly. Let me try and find the exact quote for you. I'm sure you have it out. Here it is. He says, I feel like we have a great game plan going into the game. Now it's about executing. I really love the game plan. I'm not going to sit here and say we have all these crazy new things. I don't know who said that, but I'm excited. We're excited. John, you always add the context here of like, yeah, they're not changing a whole lot. What does he mean when he says something like that?
Well, Jordan Mailata is the one who said it. They got some new things in the run game, but again, they've done that in the past. How much can you do it? Maybe they're trying some of the cutbacks that Chicago tried. But again, that's about execution more than anything else. Before they went under center, the big Fred packages when Lane was healthy. Lane's not healthy yet. Hopefully he'll be back. Las Vegas would be, the fourth game. So, well, that's something to keep an eye on this week to see if he can make it back. I've not seen him at all. So I don't know if it's going to be possible. And then Jaylen Carter as well is not going to be able to play. And that's not necessarily he's going to be back. So those are the two major injuries. But yeah, they've already tried tweaks. And again, that part of it has been the same all year. And I get why people start to roll their eyes there because, Saquon has said it, Jordan Mailata said it, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, we're one block away. We're one block away to the execution standpoint. And it just doesn't feel like they've been one block away.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't feel like that at all, Johnny Mac. Interesting stuff coming into this game. John, real quick, we're going to have Jeff Kerr joining us here in a little bit. We're going to talk to Jeff Kerr about the game. I'm sure he's got a lot of comments on the weekend as well, of college football, the NFL, all sorts of good stuff. But, John, I think this game, while I do feel confident in it, I think the Eagles are just a better team here. But the Eagles are missing their two best players, and those players are both in the trenches in this game. That, to me, is a massive shift. I mean, you're missing Lane Johnson and you're missing Jaylen Carter. I mean, football is won in the trenches. These are two physical teams here. The Chargers like to run the ball as well with Jim Harbaugh. They're getting back potentially O'Mary and Hampton. Now, the Herbert thing is still up in the air, but you're missing two of those two players, John. That's a big loss for the Eagles, obviously. That goes without saying.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But, you saw how difficult things were for Jaylen Carter against Chicago. So, I mean, if that's the guy you're getting on game day, you may not like it, but you got to take a step back and let him rest or.
Yeah. Why don't they view it like that with the offensive lineman, for crying out loud?
Well, because they think they're playing at an acceptable level. And I think Landon has started to play, not to his level, but I
Right.
think he's started to play at an acceptable level, certainly, and better than the alternative. Um, you could argue Cam has not at times, but still better than Jaylen Carter against Chicago. Like that was bad. And so I think at that point you say, all right, he's not himself. We got to, at the bare minimum, see if a couple weeks here can get him back to where he can be closer to himself.
Fair enough. Good stuff. John, we got one super chat we'll get to here, and then we got Jeff Kerr coming up. For those who wanted to see a picture of the Positivity Bunny, if you didn't, here it is. There's the picture of the Positivity Bunny that has been installed by A.J. Dillon, I guess, in the locker room, or purchased by A.J. Dillon.
Not a lot of room in there, so I'm not sure he's sticking around. But
yeah, right. I don't know how much or how long. Here's Menifee. What's up, Charles? We need to at least be competent running the ball, but what's needed most? Line play. Hurts run threat or better calls, or D, all of the above. So what's needed most? Line play, Hurts run threat, or better play calling, or D, all of the above.
All of the above. That's, again, it's not one thing, which, but I do think if you're doing the pie chart, I do think, players over plays. I saw somebody put up the game-winning play. I don't know if because it was on, maybe people saw it, big game, Packers-Bears. Bears had a chance to tie it or maybe even go for two. And Caleb Williams threw an interception into the end zone.
He was a little late on that because it looked like Kmet was there.
Well, he was, and for a split second, but what actually happened was they were playing man-to-man, which is not zone. Keyshawn Nixon, who made the interception, his responsibility was DJ Moore. The linebacker was supposed to take the tight end, and he rushed because he saw Caleb bootlegging out, and he was like, I got to get the quarterback. So he made a mental error. Keyshawn Nixon deserves a hell of a lot of credit. He saw what was going on and peeled off to a guy who was wide open. Meanwhile, his guy, DJ Moore, was open underneath, but Caleb Williams wasn't able to make that, decipher that quickly, and threw the ball and still had a chance. It was a poor throw if he got more on it.
Yeah.
Still had a chance, but that is a hell of a play by Keyshawn Nixon. And that's why I say players over plays, man. Players over plays. There's a guy who just recognized, oh shit, somebody else made a mistake. I'm going to make up, but that's just a feel of playing defense. And he saw Kmet breaking wide open, and he let
both guys there. I mean, DJ Moore was covered underneath too. I mean, I guess it would.
Well, he wasn't though. He wasn't because Nixon was his guy. Now the two linebackers made it difficult because they were going after Williams, so it was difficult. It was late. It was difficult to decipher. But DJ Moore,
it would have been a tough throw to get that ball in there to DJ Moore.
Yeah, but he would have certainly gotten a first down, maybe a touchdown. But
I thought Caleb should have just tried to get the first down with the legs there, or try and get Swift in the
flat. You got to extend the game. But from his standpoint, I get why Caleb Williams did it because his eyes just glare like he's wide open.
Yeah, right.
Now, if he was going right, that's a touchdown. But he was going left, which again, Ben Johnson, why do you got him rolling left, dude? When he rolls right, he's like unbelievable.
I know
he's throwing the football.
Throws, it's unbelievable.
And he just didn't get enough on it. But it was a hell of a play. If you watch that from the overhead camera, it was a hell of a play by Keyshawn Nixon. Hell of a play.
Good stuff there. One more. Terry Hayes becomes a member. Terry, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Good to have you back in the channel. Terry, good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Let's bring up Jeff Kerr, who joins us right now here on Birds 365. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. Jeff, what's going on, my man? How you doing on this Monday morning? Game day, Jeff.
Oh, we got the Christmas tree up at the Kerr household.
Yeah, that was all
like it. Was it up last week?
It was up, but it wasn't decorated.
Yeah, it wasn't decorated. I remember seeing it, though.
All right. That's my mistake. That's a bad job by me. Now, you're probably basking in the glow of Matt Campbell. I'm
loving it. What What a
Larry
happy
Karras
accident.
has taken over Pennsylvania. Now he just needs Pitt, and he'll control the whole state.
I said, I'll share the conversation. I text John on Saturday, and I'm like, did Nick Sirianni really name drop Larry Karras when asked about Matt Campbell? Of course he did.
Well, he named him any chance he gets to drop Larry Karras, who, for those who don't know, and you should know, is the former coach of Mount Union who won, I think, 11 national championships at that level. He's the mentor of Nick Sirianni, Matt Campbell, and also Jason Candle, who used to coach Toledo. I believe he just got the UConn job.
He did.
Jason Candle's one of the reasons Quinyon Mitchell is here, by the way, because Nick is so close to him. He got all the intel on Quinyon Mitchell, but yeah, Larry Karras taking over the world, man, taking over Pennsylvania.
I have to laugh at Penn State fans and their conspiracy theories. So, as we talked about last week, Big Dom was at the Penn State Rutgers game. And now the whole conspiracy theory is, oh, Big Dom was there to give the Eagles a vibe on, or Penn State a vibe on Matt Campbell. I'm like, Matt Campbell wasn't on their radar at that Rutgers game that Saturday. So,
yeah, a lot of people turned Penn State down, which I'm surprised by. But I don't know what's going on with college football and NIL and all that kind of stuff. So it, that determines, how much money you have determines how good the job is. But I'll tell you what, James Franklin, I used to tell you, he's a hell of a recruiter. I don't think he's a great coach, but he's a hell of a recruiter, and that's more important in college.
And I agree. Matt Campbell's a hell of a recruiter for what he does. Like he'll find these 3-star guys that all of a sudden look at the guys that
Penn
came out.
Penn State needs 5-star guys. They don't need 3-star.
No, I agree. But look at the guys that came out Iowa State. He developed Dave Montgomery, Brees Hall,
Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, Alan Lazard. Like
I just watched Indiana win the Big Ten with a bunch of 3-star guys.
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
Signate's a really good coach.
And the rematch will be 47-10, but I digress.
I don't know, man. I like that Indiana team. I hear you, though. I hear you.
Are you predicting a rematch in the national championship there, John?
No, not necessarily. I haven't looked at the bracket. But we want to go down that road. But by the way, that is some scripted bullshit with the college football playoff. I mean, that's a TV show. That's like Keegan-Michael Key doing the old joke commercial about the NFL being scripted. That thing was scripted. That thing was scripted 2 weeks ago when they bumped Alabama up over Notre Dame, and they were going to put Miami in because they won the head-to-head. That thing was fucking scripted.
I don't understand why they need to reveal rankings every single week.
Because they're idiots, and they box themselves in the corner, and then they got to go, oh shit, we got to get Miami in. How do we get Miami in?
Yeah. And if head-to-heads are
out of this though, and I get it. I'm a Bama guy, and I can see the bias here with Alabama. But I will say this: I don't know why everybody is so pointing at Miami, Alabama. Like we have Tulane and JMU, and does anybody really believe that Tulane?
Well,
and JMU,
you know why they're in, right?
Does anybody really believe that those are two of the best 12 college football players?
It doesn't matter though, because the top 5 conference champions get in, so that's how they got in.
Yeah, I get that. I'm saying that's a stupid thing when the conferences are nowhere. Here's the NFL. It's not that the divisions aren't all created equal here, or in a way. I mean,
I agree with you.
Belt, really? You won the Sun Belt, and then we're going to punish playing lesser opponents.
If you just want the best teams, you got to put in both Miami and Notre Dame should be in.
Correct.
There. Now, too many people, Notre Dame is like the Cowboys, right? So you got all the weirdo religious fans who love them, and you got all the people that hate them. So that masks what went on here because nobody can be logical about Notre Dame. But they did deserve to be in there. But there's other teams that deserve to be in there as well. Now, but even if you take into account that, all right, James Madison and Tulane have to be in there. Is that the other team, Tulane?
Yeah, Tulane was the other conference. Well, that was like my hot take, and I said it for weeks. The American is better than the ACC this year.
That's the thing. Yeah. Now, here's to the Alabama entitlement. And I'm sorry, Zander, but to the Alabama entitlement, because I got a lot of people. I wrote that yesterday on X, and the Alabama fan, again, it's religion for most of them. So they go nuts. And I'm like, any other team, including Georgia, including Texas, in the SEC, gets bumped in that situation. Any other team in that conference, forget about Vanderbilt and Ole Miss and all those schools that everybody talks about. And look, obviously it's the best conference, but the reality is you can go back to 2023 when Georgia was on a 29-game winning streak, had won 29 straight, lost by 3 points in the SEC championship.
And they were out.
They dropped out. And a lot of people think they got screwed on it. I don't remember the official call, but a lot of people told me they got screwed as well. I don't remember that, but it may have happened. It may not have happened. Point is, 29 straight, Georgia, and they're out. Now, it was different at the time, obviously, but they didn't drop at all, Alabama, basically. They had already decided. Then you have all these people, well, it's not fair that they have to play in the conference championship game. Okay, I'll buy that because it is, team like Notre Dame specifically doesn't have a conference. They can sit on the sidelines. They don't have to play a tough opponent. I can buy that.
And they can create their own schedule.
They
for
can
the
create
majority
their
of the
own
year.
schedule,
That's
but that's not the point. They're one of the best teams in the country, whether
Well,
you
they
like
are.
them or not.
100%.
Now,
not even,
Yeah.
So my point is,
they are 100%.
to my point, BYU is in the same situation. They're above, right? They're above Miami, but they had to play in a conference championship game
And they
against
blown
their
out like
top
Alabama
opponent.
did.
Get blown out. They're out. Why aren't they in? Conference championship games shouldn't matter, but it did matter for poor.
And I agree with
BYU.
Xander's
There's
point,
no
by the way.
consistency. You're right, John. There's zero consistency. It seems like it's all subjective to the committee. And I don't think the committee even, I don't know what the hell they watch. I really don't. How they don't
I don't hear. Well, Xander, to back your point, like, look, if we're really picking the 12 best, and I know there are outliers because of the automatic qualifications, because it does mean something to win your conference. But I agree with you. If you're really picking the 12 best teams, Notre Dame's one of the 12, period.
100%.
Whether you like them or not.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, from an entertainment standpoint, Jeremiah Love might be the best player in the country.
He should be in New York for the Heisman.
He's certainly the most exciting player in the country. So you have one of the best teams with maybe the most exciting player in college football. You don't want him in there?
I'm really upset they're not playing in the bowl game because I kind of wanted to see them play in the bowl game and just destroy whoever they were playing.
But here's the thing. Nobody's playing in that bowl game.
Correct.
Jeremiah Love's not playing in that bowl game. He'd play in the college football playoff. Jadarian Price is not playing in that bowl game.
That's why these bowl games don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
There's no point in playing.
And for all those people that say Notre Dame took the ball and went home, blah, blah, blah. The players,
I don't think they did that.
The players voted. They didn't want to go to some bullshit bowl.
Yeah, they're not going to help the ESPN ratings and all that bullshit.
What does suck for Marcus Freeman, though, is those 16 extra practices go a long way for those freshmen and sophomores who are eventually going to be playing.
They got screwed. There's no I don't give a shit about Notre Dame. Although I do like Jeremiah Love. I love watching him.
I like Freeman. I'm a Freeman guy. I like Freeman.
I'm a Marcus Freeman guy, too. I know Penn State really was after him for a while. I never thought they could get him, but I don't blame him for trying.
Yeah. It's just absurd. And now I got to watch James Madison lose by 70 and Tulane and all these.
No, you don't, John.
Nobody wants them in. I get it. They won the conference. Nobody wants to watch JMU and Tulane play against the Georgias and the Alabamas and the
boys. I'm gonna calm you down right now. I'm gonna calm both of you down right now. We will not be watching those games because the NFL won't be playing at the same time.
Well, that's
the Eagles
true.
are
they stuck them on TNT. Those are the TNT.
Yeah.
But forget about James Madison, Tulane. Does anybody remember the 23 college football playoff national championship game?
Yeah, I get it.
But the TCU game? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The
The
TCU
factor
game.
there is like Alabama has beaten good teams this year. They beat Georgia this year. Who the hell
Look,
is BYU beating?
Look,
Seriously.
look.
That's a good question, Xander.
Alabama's a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm saying anybody else in their situation is not allowed.
No, I don't disagree with that point. I don't. They do have entitlement. But my point to it is, if you're going to compare it, not you personally, but anybody in a vacuum, if you're going to compare it to BYU, this is why I don't like the conference thing. Because the conference is
the only reason I compare it to BYU is because
they're not even close.
The only reason I compare it to BYU is I said I can destroy every religious person's argument. By religious person, I mean fan of their football program. In the case of, I had a lot of Alabama's people saying, well, they were already in the SEC championship game. Didn't matter because it's not fair, because they're comparing it. They're comparing it to Notre Dame. So I said, well, what about BYU? They're in a poor championship game against a top 5 team, Texas Tech. They play poorly. They're ahead they're in the playoff before the game, and they're out because they lost and they played poorly in their conference championship game. None of it holds water, is all I'm trying to say. And Alabama is the most entitled team in the country. As I said, if that happened to Georgia, Georgia's almost as good as Alabama at this point from a blue blood standpoint. Out. Texas, almost. Certainly a blue blood, out. They're not even in. Nobody considers Texas, even though they were playing some of the best football in the country, and they're one of the few teams that can win a national championship.
Penn State won a conference championship, and a team, by the way, when we had divisions that couldn't win their division, got in over them. Oh, and Penn State beat them head to head.
And by the way, Miami couldn't even play in their 8th championship game because they didn't get there, and the ACC champions didn't make it.
Yeah. Because the Sun Belt champion was ranked higher than the ACC champion. If Virginia wins, they're in, and we don't see James Madison.
Miami is in the playoff, and they're not even the ACC champions.
See, this is what I would have liked them to do. Just go to this, right?
Exactly.
Look at the top 12. Look at the top 12 here. Would anybody argue with this if these teams made it? Maybe you would.
Absolutely not.
But that, to me, those top 12, that is what people want to see, in my opinion. But
you know what, Xander? If you really want to spice it up, I would make some room for Tulane, because I think Tulane is a good football team.
Jeff, I knew you were going to back.
I'm just telling you, I think Tulane is a good football team.
Yeah, I do too. They're solid.
There's always going to be debate, because even if you look at this, like, to me, and if you could put that back up, Xander, to me, 13 and 14 are better than 12. And you'll have those debates, but I would live with those. Would be much less, if BYU goes to
in at 12 if it were up to me here. But just go.
Well, if you want the best teams, I'd put Texas in at 12. But I know you can't, because they have 3 losses. Although, again, Alabama has 3 losses. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Hey, Xander, we should play a fun game with this. Like, you should just put this up on X and be like, okay, name all 25 schools. I bet people can't get all 25.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably right.
Especially 23.
I hear what you're saying, John. I don't.
But, whatever. It would be much less controversy when you have clearly, like, if you ask me who has a real chance to win a national championship, and partially, I'm not perfect, but I look at Georgia, I look at Ohio State, I look at Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Oregon. I think Oregon has a chance.
Texas, maybe Oregon. I got a soft problem.
You got to put Indiana in there, John.
I don't. And they can prove me wrong.
John,
They'll have opportunity.
Yeah, as long as you say that, I'm good with it. I'm good with the.
They have every opportunity. I'm not saying they shouldn't be. They certainly should be in it.
I like that Mendoza kid, man. I like that Mendoza.
Well, he's going to win the Heisman now.
Well, yeah, he's on. I'll tell you what, they got some good players on defense too. I think that's been
good players all over the place, but I would and I don't, it's probably not going to work out.
Did anybody watch that number 92 on Ohio State versus that Indiana? That guy.
Oh, yeah.
What's that guy's name? I'm blanking on his damn name now. Perry, is it? Perry? Something else.
The lineman?
Curry, 92. He was wrecking that game at the start. He's the guy who laid the hit on Mendoza on the first play of the game. That dude was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering. I couldn't remember him
that
making
dude
it.
is a monster. But all right, guys, let's move into some NFL here. We got the game tonight. Jeff, what's your thoughts, man? We had a lot of stuff happen this weekend with the Eagles where we got bunnies being installed in the locker room. We got Saquon.
Can I say, why is the Velveteen Rabbit in the Eagles locker room to begin with?
I don't know.
Say that again.
Lover.
What is it? What is it? Say that again. I was.
Why is the Velveteen Rabbit in the Eagles locker room to begin with?
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's a children's book. It's like one of my inside jokes on the Positive Bunny.
Yeah, I don't know, but the Positivity Bunny was there because AJ Dillon wanted to make people smile because it's a bunch of Eeyores.
They are a bunch of Eeyores in the locker. They need more Tiggers in that locker room.
Yeah, they're a bunch of Eeyores. I think they've all admitted that. AJ Dillon's had enough. He's like, I'm barely even playing this locker room.
I never seen a team like the Eagles who just do not like winning.
There's a couple. I mean, Jordan Davis is always.
He's always positive.
Always positive. Jihad Campbell, surprisingly very positive, considering he didn't play. He was intimidating people to pick Alabama in the SEC championship game. And I told
Jordan Davis. Go ahead, Don.
I told Jihad, I go, you guys should win because you guys have to win. Now I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I told him, I'm picking you guys. He intimidated a bunch of cameramen because I was having a big conversation. I said, well, Georgia's a better team, but I'm picking you guys because Georgia, similar to Ohio State against Indiana, they didn't have to win that game. But Alabama had to win that game. This is what I was telling Jihad Campbell. Well, I was completely wrong. Completely. They played their worst game. That's the first SEC championship game where a team has gone scoreless into the fourth quarter, and they're still in. So, apologies.
I predicted Georgia to win the game because anybody who's watched Alabama the last 3 weeks, they have not had a good stretch of football. They're all bye-bye. And
apologies to Jihad Campbell if he's listening. It's too early out there.
So I know Jordan Davis had a good 48 hours. Georgia wins the SEC championship, and Lando Norris won the F1 title. So he's probably if Jordan Davis is a big game tonight, I won't be surprised.
Don't talk about race driving with Georgia. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, that's fair. I wanted Verstappen to win that, Jeff. He won the race.
I did too.
Yeah,
I wanted chaos.
All right, Jeff, what do you make of the Nick Sirianni report from Tim McManus? And I think Jeff McLean also followed up on it, but just about Nick Sirianni, more involved in the Eagles' offensive meetings this week leading into the Monday night game. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised, to be honest. I mean, you got to change something, right? And you're not changing the play caller. And basically, it is his offense. So if we're going to really get in the nitty gritty here, he's going to be a more offensive being. He's going to be like, okay, maybe we do this. Maybe we have a wrinkle here. And again, I think that's part of his job as the CEO coach, and his background is offense. So am I surprised over this? No, but they do have to do something, right? They can't just rest on their laurels here and think that they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's more about messaging because, in Tim's report, he made it very clear that Kevin's still running the meetings. Kevin is still the play caller. So I think it's more about messaging and trying to get guys to stop pointing fingers because that's been the messaging this week and try to fix this thing together offensively. It's amazing we're here, though, And I do think, I'll tell you what, this opens up the door. Similar to the Saquon comments, this opens the door for all that speculation, and people are going to run with it. Well, the Sirianni's taking over, and they're not reading the article. They're not reading the nuance of the thing. So, it opens the door for the scapegoat. So Kevin's got 5 games in the playoffs to get this shit on track, or he's going to be Notre Dame. He's shit out of luck.
You think it's a good thing, Jeff, that Nick is doing this? Will it help or will it hurt?
I mean, it can't. I mean,
You have a
I don't think
section
he
of the
can
fan base
hurt.
who hears that and they're like, Nick's involved, we're cooked.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
can,
that's segment. Yeah.
can it get any worse than what it's been? What the last
It would be hard to.
6 quarters? I mean, look, this offense has been a disappointment this year. I'm not going to hide that, but you kind of need. I mean, look, this is Nick
Aren't they the
Sirianni's
same
job.
guy anyway? That's
Yeah,
what
they are.
everybody says.
I mean, what were we doing last week? We were like ranking the blame on who the blame for this, and Nick Sirianni, to me, was higher than Kevin Patullo. So,
Well, speaking of that, Chris Sims ranked the blame, and he maybe not ranked it, but he explicitly put it on Jalen Hurts' shoulders.
we know he was jumping on that.
Yeah. Well, what do you make? Well, I do think my problem with Eagles fans sometimes, and I get it, I'm guilty of it too. Everybody's gonna get mad. They just attack the messenger instead
They
of
do.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
and I have a problem with that. I don't care what you think of Chris Sims' professional career. I don't give a rat's ass what you think. He is saying over and over again, he's hearing from people in the organization, people that have left, coaches that are in the organization, and coaches that have left, that the quarterback is the number one problem in the offense for why it's run in the simple way it's ran. And when you lose the running game, running this style of simple offense, it gets ugly quick. I think that's
and then it comes back to what we were talking about last week. Like we don't know if he wants to run or not, which is a problem because I think we have to have that +1 in the run game. If they don't have that, you're getting the result, Zander. So yeah, that's where Chris Sims' messaging comes in.
Which is not new. I mean, again,
yeah, we talked about this last year.
Oh yeah, I've been talking about it forever. The same thing happens because it's Groundhog Day. We get the OTAs, we see a bunch of motion or slots or shifts or, pass. That's what OTAs are. But training camp, you see the trying to evolve the offense, and then they get to the regular season. They generally try it for a few games and scale back. It's Groundhog Day.
It happened last year, but the run game was awesome, and the offensive line was awesome, and it carried them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, and that's the big deal going into. There is a game tonight, shockingly.
There is.
But I'll tell you, Jeff, every time the Eagles don't play, only good things happen for them. Injuries.
It's true.
Geno Smith gets hurt.
Every time they play, it's not always.
No.
Every time
then it's tough.
Like we have to look at the situation in totality now. The Rams lead their division. The Packers lead their division, and the Bucs lead their division. The Eagles beat all them. So they have a head-to-head tiebreaker. Well, Packers, it won't be a head-to-head tiebreaker because they got a tie unless they somehow tie again. But they do have tiebreakers over these teams.
Yep. And if they run the table, there's a good chance they can get back to that number one spot. Now, can this team run the table? Probably not. Chargers.
I think they're going to end up with the 2, honestly. I think they'll end up with the 2 seed like they were last year. So you think you'll end up at 3, or where do you think they'll end up?
I got them going 3-2 here in these last 5 games here.
Which is fine. That wins the division. So,
right. Do you guys think Herbert's going to play tonight? I kind of feel like there's some gamesmanship there, and he's not going to play.
I think he's going to try to play, but I think you're going to see both.
I'll just say this from what I've heard: it is literally a game time decision. So
I think he's going to try, but you're going to see like Trey Lance and short yardage where they have to go under center. So I think it's going to be a cluster, and again, a big advantage for the Eagles.
That's why I'm picking the Eagles tonight, because I'm just not sure what I'm going to see out of the Chargers. Yeah, Marion Hampton's back, so that's a big cluster.
And he was, for anybody who remembers, he hasn't played since what? I think like week 5.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, there's going to be some rust there.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. Well, so-and-so's back in every game, and they play like shit.
I'd rather play Kamani Vidal if we're going to be
honest.
He's playing well,
yeah.
Vidal's been good.
And I think they will. But yeah, you almost need 2 scores. I've gone back and forth. But obviously, if Justin Herbert doesn't play, you have to pick the Eagles.
The big thing in the game, and look, John, I know you, me, and Xander talk about this, but I think people are forgetting the Chargers do not have their tackles. That's a big win
yeah.
for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
I think Trevor Penning's over there as their left tackle. He has not done well since they traded for him. Mekhi
No.
Becton not worked out since they signed. He signed over there, and it hasn't
He's
worked
been
out.
injured a lot too.
Yeah.
A lot of guys on
And
that
when
team
he's
have
not
been
injured.
injured.
He's not really playing.
this team is a Super Bowl contender with their tackles. That's
Correct.
how good their tackles are.
So before the season started, when I was you did the whole win-loss thing, I thought this would be a loss. But a little different now because everybody's hurt.
By the way,
including
Nick Sirianni and Jim Harbaugh are the number 1 and number 2 winning percentage coaches amongst active coaches in the NFL.
Yeah. I think they're the first. I think it was Elias that had this first, but they're the first 2 coaches to have a 700 win percentage and coach in a Super Bowl to face each other.
I don't think Jim's that. Let's see. Nick's dead at 700. Jim's at 683.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I botched that stat. I have to look it up. Well, I did botch that
but
stat.
they win a lot. So
Yeah,
um,
but I'm sure Chargers fans aren't calling for Jim Harbaugh to be fired like Philadelphia.
oh,
fans
they
are.
will be.
I got one. Have you guys seen the latest commentary in Indianapolis? They all want Shane Steichen fired because he's stale. The play calling loses games.
Really?
I'm reading these tweets last night from it, and I am cracking up. I'm like, you could literally replace.
You mean the Colts
with
outperform
and people would
themselves?
believe it. This is what Eagles fans say. The same exact thing.
Well,
I agree. Every fan base is like this too.
Every single fan.
Hey, look, I saved one to read to you guys for today. I hate Steichen more than I hate Ballard. Play calling has lost us multiple must-win games. I don't even think it's debatable. We were up 2 scores in the 4th against the Chiefs, and he refused to run clock. Then continues with the same shit. He's abysmal.
I would rather fire Shane Steichen for how he's handled Daniel Jones than anything else. Now he's done for the season.
Yeah, tough,
that's
man.
brutal.
Well,
But by the way, the Jaguars are really good. Can we just
yeah, they're good.
Call a spade. The Colts are the 3rd best team in their division.
And the Texans are good too.
The Texans are really good.
Yeah,
Texans defense is well, I saw everybody putting up the Texans defensive stats today. I mean, there were like 6 drop passes in that game too.
Yeah, there were.
From Kansas City. So you got to be careful with all these things, but they have a very good defense. And they're getting better. The Texans, the Colts aren't going to make the playoffs. They're cooked. They're done. So
they might lose out. Have you seen their final schedule?
Yeah, that's bad luck. I mean, Riley Leonard's the backup quarterback. You're screwed.
So I go on Kansas City radio station, the Chiefs flagship station, every Tuesday, and we were talking about this game last week. And I said, "Would it shock you guys at all if the Houston Texans played in the Super Bowl?" And they all said no. Because of that defense, and they were legit worried about this defense. They were all convinced Kansas City was going to be 6-7 after.
Well,
this
now
game.
Anybody coming out of the AFC wouldn't surprise me. Literally,
correct.
Anybody, because there's no team to hang your hat on. I guess
it's really shaping up to be a weird year in the AFC, though. I mean, as it stands right now, Ravens on the outside looking in, Chiefs on the outside looking in, Bengals on the outside looking in. I mean. Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Steelers, Bills, Chargers, and Texans right now.
Did you guys see the end of Ravens Steelers yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I thought you were talking about the Bills Bengals. That Bills Bengals.
Well, that game was crazy too. But Ravens Steelers was like, come on. And the Ravens didn't deserve to win, by the way, because they played like garbage. But that's a catch.
Yeah.
I agree with that. A likely catch, yeah.
How much snow will be on the ground when the Eagles travel to Buffalo in a few weeks?
Probably will. Or maybe the Bills had their big snow game this year and the Eagles lucked out.
End of December in Buffalo, my friend, there's going to be some snow.
There's definitely going to be snow on the ground. The question is it going to be snowing during the game?
My biggest takeaway from the games were yesterday, and I'm going to go back to John's favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. How bad are the Washington Commanders defensively that you let J.J. McCarthy just tear you up?
Well, I'll tell you this. What that game proves more than anything, and what the Eagles prove more than anything, if you don't turn the football over, you're going to be in games. In that case, that's the first time JJ didn't turn it over freaking 3 times. played a clean game. Wasn't
He was
good.
He was carving them up though for a stretch there.
He wasn't good, and I only saw I didn't see the game, but I saw
You didn't miss much.
I was watching Red Zone, and they didn't even really go into that game much because it was just two irrelevant teams. But you get to see all the scoring plays. Most of the scoring plays are wide open, easy throws, which speaks to your point about the Commanders. But he didn't turn the football over. I mean, that you're going to be in games if you don't turn the football over. I don't know why people can't figure this out.
Eagles fans can thank me, by the way. My 2 locks of the week ended up being losses. The Cowboys and the Commanders.
Yeah.
The Eagles are lucky to be in the East right now. The two bottom teams right now in the NFC are the Giants, the Commanders.
I
tried to tell people this division sucks. Like
it's terrible.
Stop.
I mean, the Cowboys are sick.
Giants are in. The Giants are getting the number 1 pick as of today.
Zander, how did you like my tweet last week? I saw you favorite it.
But I like it. All right, that means I saw
about the Giants' losses, their worst of the season, and people were coming at me left and right. I'm like, it was like you should never lose to that team, especially the way they did.
Yeah, that was brutal, no doubt about it. Well,
Jeff, you want Joe Shane taking the number 1 pick in the draft?
Oh gosh.
Who's going to be the number 1 pick?
Good question.
Mendoza.
No.
But he's not going to take him, though.
Take it to the bank, John. Mendoza's going number 1.
If somebody takes him number 1, all right, good luck with your process, man.
You watch.
That is a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he's got immense talent.
John McMullen does not like Kirk Cignetti or Indiana football.
No, he does not even like the QB. John is an Indiana hater today.
I don't believe him.
The Big Ten over Ohio State, and John didn't even put him on his short list of teams that could win.
I don't believe in them. But the best guys are. So let's take a look at Kuiper's top 50. Not that Kuiper
is big board.
No, this even worse. He's got Love number 1, which I agree with. I think he's the best player in the country. But there's that Caleb Downs from Ohio State.
Yeah, he's a beast. He transferred.
I love him.
And the Miami edge rusher, I think his name is Bane, like the Batman villain.
Yeah.
Those are the guys.
We all know the best player can't go in the draft this year, and that's Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, he's not eligible yet. But I don't know. Nobody's going to take a running back number 1. I don't think anybody take a wide receiver number 1.
I would love Jeremiah Love number 1, but that's not going to be a thing.
I would take him top 5. I'll tell you that. Somebody better take him. Now, I don't give a shitload if the shelf life is 4 years.
Both of you guys have been around long enough to know the cycle will start for the draft.
We know where this is going to end up going.
Oh yeah.
And they'll pick one of the quarterbacks.
Let's play this game.
The Giants aren't taking a quarterback. They aren't because they think they have their quarterback.
Let's play this game.
One pick, I don't know.
Let's play this for a second, just for fun. Now, I know they won yesterday, but say somehow Tennessee gets the number 1 pick. You don't take a quarterback 1, do you?
Yeah, they can't. Unfortunately, they should, but they can't. That's why shitty teams are shitty teams. When a guy's not worthy of going number 1 and you have number 1, don't fucking take him. Don't take him.
And they took him.
Don't take him. You'll be bad again, and you wait for a year where he's there.
And they were bad with this guy anyway. So what's the difference? They fired their coach.
The fact that they're in the conversation for number 1 tells you how well it's going.
I actually think the Browns have a better future quarterback right now than the Titans do.
Shador's look good. By the way, I don't know what the hell Stefanski's doing, but he's starting to make himself look like a real asshole.
He's getting fired. I'm telling you that right now. He's going to get fired.
He's starting to make himself look like a total jerk.
He's a good dude, man. Kevin.
I don't care.
I do like Kevin.
Like an asshole the way he's handling the situation. I don't care if you don't like Shador.
Yeah, by the way,
he's the quarterback of the team. Either rock with them and help them and go through it with them.
Well, I said that.
Bench.
I agree with that. You gotta.
Yeah.
And I haven't paid attention to some of that, so I can't really.
A lot of it's like not. But I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders is not as bad as people are making him out to be.
No,
I will say this, because Brian Flores did the same thing to Tua in Miami. He was like, but he didn't do it publicly. It just came out afterwards. He was like you suck. But you shouldn't do that as a head coach, to say the least. But I don't believe Kevin Stefanski. I don't believe for a second he's doing.
So, of coaches that we think are going to be fired, right? Pete Carroll.
I guarantee you,
up there, right?
If Kevin Stefanski is getting fired, he's not going back. He's getting another head coaching job.
Oh, he will. I've written that for CBS when I had to do my head coach rankings, like the firing rankings. I said, if this guy gets fired, he'll be hired quick.
I guarantee you. He's not the guy who's going to have to go back to being a coordinator. He's getting another head coach.
If Pete Carroll gets fired, he's never getting another job again.
Well, he's 75 years old.
I mean, the quarterback has like 400 plus yards of offense and 4 touchdowns on the day. He brings you back to to have a chance to win the game, and you take him off the field for the 2-point conversion. I mean, what world?
I
didn't see it. What did he do? Run a wildcat or something?
Yeah, he ran a bullshit play. It was worse than Ben Johnson giving the ball to Jameson Williams in the playoffs. I mean, it was an abysmal play. It had no chance of working.
So Xander, this is how funny like that all was. That last play, when I saw that, I literally had to turn off the TV. I was going to the Sixers game last night, but I'm like, all right, I see enough bad coaching today.
I haven't even gotten with the nice game by Joel, by the way, last night.
Oh,
nice
yeah,
game.
he looked great. I thought you were going to say nice game by LeBron, because he had a great game last night.
Yeah, LeBron had a good game. Maxey, when did he ball out? He balled out a couple nights ago when they won
against Golden State.
Oh man,
that was a fun game too.
That was a really fun game. I watched.
What was Embiid like? 4 for 18.
4 for 21. 4 for 21.
Oh, I gave him too much credit.
He was 1 for 11 in the first half, and somehow was a plus 14. I understand.
My God, can we just pull the fucking plug, please?
You know who doesn't suck, even though he does make a lot of money and he probably should be more productive than he is, but he doesn't suck. Paul George.
Paul George, good player, no doubt about it.
He's still a good player.
Got to be, got to find a way to stay healthy and be on the floor more.
Yeah, but he looked pretty good covering LeBron last night. Like LeBron had his issues against Paul George until late in that game.
I can't even watch that team. I can't. And I was, and Zander will tell you, I was excited early in the season because I wanted to see VJ Edgecombe to develop. They're not developing him because they got to get out to this moron. I'm sorry.
And VJ's a good player too.
Yeah, he's a very good player. Just sit him. And I don't care if you don't get anything for that. That's done.
That is the ultimate take the L. Yeah, it's the ultimate take the L. Just take the L. You lost.
Exactly. You got to get these young guys developing together. And he's just a stopper, not only on the floor, a literal stopper to everything in that organization.
That's why that game Thursday night was so fun, because they played all those young guys with Paul George, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah. And, it's almost you have to tune in to see if he's playing and then tune out.
Literally, I saw he was playing, was like, oh, shit, we got Embiid tonight.
He blocked LeBron last night and acted like he was like the champion of the world.
I know.
Come on, dude.
Give the guy a ring for the block. It's like
he is, and people are going to take this and go in a different. Look, the guy is not going to be what he once was. It's gone. So if he's not one of the best players in the world, and anybody holding on to that hope, I mean, my God, come on. And now he's just harming the development of the younger players. And it's not fun to watch on top of it.
Yeah, you had your run with him.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm with John. I mean, anybody who thinks Embiid is returning to himself.
And I love Joel Embiid, but I know what he is, and he's not what he was.
The knees are cut. I mean, his jumper's flat. He barely jumps when he.
And from what I heard, he's basically holding the organization hostage. He'll show up and say, he wants to play in this game, and then I can't play in this game.
Oh
You
my
can't
God.
run a team that way.
I would not want Nick Nurse's job.
Cut him. I mean, can you cut the guy?
I mean, I take Nick
By the
Nurse's
way, that was an
job because
egregious
of the
move by
salary,
by
but
Morey. They extended. This was supposed to be the last year of his deal, and then they gave him
No, I know.
another
Well, that's what makes it worse. They
on
paid him,
top of this one. It's like, holy crap! I don't know.
and they knew he was hurt when they paid him. That's what I don't get.
All right, Jeff, real quick tonight, brother. What do you got? What's the plan tonight for the Birds? How do you think this game plays out? Eagles, Chargers. A lot of injuries on both sides. Eagles are missing their maybe their two best players, Lane Johnson, Jaylen Carter, at least two of their best 5 players. Obviously, the struggling offense. How do you see it playing out tonight?
I still think the offense is going to struggle without Lane Johnson. I mean, there's a correlation there. So I think
Fred
it's
will
going
be
to.
fine.
Yeah, well, Fred's going to be fine. I'm just saying there is a
I'm
correlation.
I'm joking.
But-
Everybody when Lane was out, Fred will step in.
But
There'll be
also, yeah, like Lane's not a Hall of Famer. But
Yeah.
I digress. Who I think's going to have a big night? The Jalen Son and Jalen Phillips. I think they're going to have big nights tonight.
Jalen Hunt's playing well recently.
Really
ever since second half of the season, really. Ever since Jalen Phillips has gotten here. Yeah, I could see that. Terrible tackles with the Chargers. If Trey Lance is playing, boy, oof. I mean,
It
he'll
could be
take
ugly.
some sacks. Yeah, he'll take some sacks.
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping for his sake that the Eagles could have claimed Slay. I mean, they did put in a claim for him. I don't think he would have done much here, but I think it would have been cool to see him end his career. But he could have started against Trey Lance and would have been fine.
Oh yeah. Well, he could start against anybody and be an upgrade of what the Eagles are rolling out there.
I think that's what people don't get, and that's why I got so upset last week when, I'm saying, hey, look, he does want to come back. He does, and he sucked in Pittsburgh. I'm like, it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't understand that.
What's his passer rating this year?
Every situation is not the same. Is it really that hard to understand?
Like, there's a reason why he had career best numbers across the board at age 34 with Vic Fangio last year.
Yeah, accepted it. Unlike Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard, as you get older, you have to change. Think about Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson going back to safety. You have to change. And Slay accepted that, and he played very well.
Yeah.
And would he be up to the level he played last season? Probably not. But would he be better than Adoree Jackson? I take that bet.
Yeah, and Q and Cooper DeJean love him. Like, everybody loves him.
Yeah.
He's a likable guy. I think he would have brought that he would have been better than the positive bunny in that locker room. I told you that.
Come on, the positivity bunny? Don't kill the positivity bunny.
Oh, I'll deflate the positivity bunny.
I'm sure it is deflated. There's not enough
John
room in there.
I couldn't believe John. I thought John would go curmudgeon on the pod. I'm not gonna lie, and John totally.
I think John is
morning was like, I love
the positivity.
I thought you were gonna rip it.
I love the positivity bunny.
This city, I'm telling you, if the Eagles win this week, you are going to see people wearing bunny hats all over the place.
I know.
You're
right. You're right. But if they lose, you'll be seeing people burning. They might not celebrate Easter in Philly next year if they start losing.
I was actually looking for it on Amazon as a joke, and I couldn't find it. So kudos to them.
AJ Dillon, the other AJ.
Yeah, who I thought would not be on this team right now.
Yeah, me too. I thought, that Howie must have promised him that he'd keep him because he's done that in the past. He did it with Gates.
Yeah, he did.
That's my guess. But hey, maybe he. I think more than the positivity bunny, it's the schedule and playing Trey Lance and Kenny Pickett and Marcus Mariota over the next 3 weeks. Would help that, but
I'm excited to see Kenny Pickett on Sunday.
Are you? Well, good dude.
I love Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
he was great to talk to in training camp. Nothing but great things to say about the Eagles organization. Obviously,
yeah, he was a good backup quarterback. He played well when Jalen got hurt. He almost won that game in Washington.
Yeah. I tell you what, Kenny Pickett really likes Shador too. Zander, back to Shador. Kenny Pickett liked him.
Yeah, I believe it. I like
Yeah.
Shedeur. I think Shedeur is going to be a good player. He's obviously got a big personality that some people don't like, but
But I'm telling you, if Shedeur Sanders' name was Zander Krause, you would never hear this.
Dude, every quarterback has a weird ass personality. Everybody's a little different. Does anybody really think Jalen Hurts doesn't have an interesting personality?
Oh, yeah, but like I can say Dylan Gabriel stinks. I can say JJ McCarthy stinks. I can say Cam Ward stinks, but I can't say Shedeur Sanders stinks.
Xander, back to Jalen's personality. I'm telling you, a swarm of hornets could be flying around his head, and I think he keeps the same facial expression.
But has Shedeur stunk, John? That's the question.
I don't think he's played well.
I don't think
he's played well at all. I mean,
right.
I don't play.
He's a fifth rounder.
They're irrelevant.
First team, and he's working his. I mean, he just had 400 yards of offense, 0 reps in the summer, John. I mean, come on. These guys
if look, I guarantee there's nobody I've given more shit than JJ McCarthy.
That's true. You've been ripping that guy.
If he shows up one week and throws for 340 yards, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. They're all NFL players, but I'm not going to tell you because he puts up some numbers. He's playing the position well because he doesn't play the position well. And if that changes, I'll tell you that as well. I think
Shedeur's biggest weakness is he tries to make something out of nothing too early,
which is certainly not a rare thing with young quarterbacks. But no, I don't think he's played the position well at all. But, that's a bad situation. That is a very bad situation. And they all, to the point that they're saying, well, maybe Deshaun Watson could be a bridge next year.
Well, let's put that in the context that when's the last time there's been a successful quarterback in Cleveland?
Well, they've had successful seasons.
Bernie Kosar? Is that the last successful quarterback?
Kevin Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year.
Because he's lifted an organization that is so brutally awful to mediocrity and
he's to the playoffs.
Exactly. But
for the overwhelming amount of time, no matter who the quarterback is, the team blows. I mean, you have to add. It's like Daniel Jones. Everyone said he sucks. He's with the Giants. Well, now he doesn't suck. Well, now he's out. But
now he's out. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get my point. Sometimes quarterbacks are in these environments where they're never going to succeed. They're never going to thrive.
By the way, his grade on PFF, I just looked it up. He hasn't played enough to be ranked. His grade is 38.9. The guys behind him are Drew Lock, Kenny Pickett, Riley Leonard, Jalen Milroe, Max Brosmer, and Quinn Ewers. That's it.
When did Riley Leonard get into a game this year?
Yesterday. But before that, he only had 6 snaps. That's why. And the guys behind him, Drew Lock played 30. This is not updated with yesterday, so we'll probably go up a little bit. Drew Lock played 30, Kenny Pickett 7, Riley Leonard 6, Jalen Milroe 3, so irrelevant. Max Brosmer played the one game, was atrocious. Quinn Ewers 12 snaps. So of the guys who played meaningful snaps, he's last. And the guy who's second to last is Dylan Gabriel. And the guy who's third to last is our old buddy Carson Wentz. And JJ McCarthy is fourth. And then Cam Ward. So there's
this season has been so long I forgot Carson Wentz actually started multiple games.
Yeah. So, look, the quarterback in Cleveland is not there, is what I'll say.
I think he's done a good job, but I get what you're saying. Jeff, do you think the Eagles will win the game tonight?
I do, yeah. I do. More of the uncertainty of the Chargers, and I don't think the Eagles defense is going to play as bad as they did. I'll point this out, Xander. I tweeted this morning. So the Eagles, their worst 2 losses of the season, in my opinion, the 2 where they played the worst, came on short weeks after they had a fourth quarter collapse. And they responded the first time when they had it 10 days. Let's see what they do tonight. But I think it's going to be a tough game. But I think they eventually win the game, and then I think they'll beat the Raiders. And, it's hard to count division games with the Commanders, but boy, do the Commanders suck. So take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think the Eagles need to win this. I mean,
I do too.
lose tonight, they once again will give the Dallas Cowboys some life. I don't think the Cowboys deserve any life at this point. But
No, they don't. They're a 500 football team. I agree with you.
I mean,
also, Monday night 2 years ago was when the red flags really came up. I mean, the red flags were already up, but they really came up after they let Drew Lock just destroy their defense for a 92-yard touchdown.
Excuse me, Jeff. How has your thought process on the team shifted in the last couple of weeks? I mean, they start 4-0, and they're 4-4 since then. And a lot of people call September kind of a BS month in the NFL where there's no preseason now. Like the games are sometimes ugly and not representative of how good a team is. So they're 4-4 in their last 8 games. Has your thought process on them being a Super Bowl contender changed at all?
Well, until the last week, honestly, I felt a lot better about them when they were 8-2. But look, I don't think there's anybody in this league that's like, they can't beat them, right? We had that big Rams discussion last week. I still think they can beat the Rams. Do I think they can beat the Rams right now? Probably not. But I don't think there's a team that scares me in this league. But they need to get back on track, right? That's the thing. They need to roll up a couple wins here and get themselves in position. But overall, if we're ranking top 5 teams, I still think I put them in there just because of the body of work.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But they would be
put them in there when I include the run that they're on, and that includes the resume of 24 and what they've been able to accomplish. If I was isolating it to 25, just 20, and I know you don't do this, but
yeah,
I would put them nowhere near the Super Bowl conversation right now.
I would just because
and they could show me some things where I would. But if I just run 25 season, I'm not putting the Eagles in a Super Bowl contender.
For me, it's just because I don't think there isn't like a team where I'm like, oh, they just can't beat that. I feel like this with everybody, like the Rams. I don't know if they can beat the Seahawks in a couple weeks. But then again, I don't know if the Seahawks can beat the Rams again, right? So it's weird. Like everybody thought the Bears were like this great team, and then the Packers beat them. Now the Packers are on top. So what happens when the Packers lose a bad game again?
Well, I will say, coming off, poor JG's going to get fired too. Arizona.
Oh God, the Cardinals.
I would say right now, and this old Eagles fan should enjoy this. I'm going to say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. They're the most complete team. They're the most complete team.
I agree with them being the most complete team for sure.
I would agree with that. If you ask me who the best team in the NFL right now is, I would say the Rams.
I'm struggling to buy the Broncos. I love their defense, but
I'm buying the Patriots too. I don't even care about their schedule.
I buy the Patriots more.
Who do you buy more, the Patriots or the Broncos? I buy the Patriots more.
Yeah, I buy the Patriots.
I would buy the Patriots. Yeah.
Drake May, I love the way he plays the position.
I'm telling you guys, if this team does make the playoffs, do not sleep on the Texans. Just don't sleep on them.
Yeah, that defensive line is so good. They'll wreck any game. I mean, they got
like Denver does. Denver wrecks everybody. Every single week they do this.
That's true. I feel a little bit better about the Houston offense than I do about the Bronco offense, but maybe I should. Houston offense has been spotty as well.
But they are starting to play the young guys though, which is
I think the AFC is such upheaval. I think the 7 seed could win. It's like
the Jaguars could go to Super Bowl with that defense, and if Trevor Lawrence ever kind of figures it out.
Well, you would think he'd be better prepared to figure it out than some of the younger guys. Certainly Nick, maybe even May. Wouldn't surprise me if May shit the bed in the playoffs. Because it tends to be a learning situation when you're in there for the first time.
I have to look this up. I know the Jaguars. I think they played the Texans again. Am I wrong on that? No, yeah, they're done with the Texans. So they split. That's right. Jaguars beat them in week 3. So they're done. This is the Jaguars. This is their schedule the rest of the way. Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans.
I love that Zander brought up all the shit Shane Steichen's taken. I mean, that team looked unbelievable early in the season.
Yeah, Zander, I really enjoyed when you were just scrolling through on that. It is entertaining if you look up Shane Steichen.
Yeah, it is. And my point more was just to highlight, like everybody.
No, I say it all the time. Every NFL city is the same.
It's so
Like
sad.
all the people, how many times in the offseason when we do a list season and certain lists the Eagles fans would hate, and I'd say it's the same in every NFL city. Maybe
And
it's
again,
more, there's more media here, but every quarterback in every NFL city gets the same shit
Yeah.
as Jalen Hurts. Same shit, same
And
in the
again,
coaching
And
realm.
again, not faulting Eagles fans for it because look, they're following their team and their media people and everything else. They're in their bubble. But yeah, you're right, Xander. Shane Steichen's getting it. Jonathan Gannon gets it every single week in Arizona.
Well, he actually
Like-
sucks.
Oh, I know, but I'm just
They
saying
lost a lot.
it's been
Yeah,
like this
but
for a while.
before they lost a lot of close games early in the season, a lot of
know.
one-score games. They were in every single game.
And I think
Until
it's
the-
taking its toll on them.
Yeah. Till the wheels came off. You remember
I-
the one idiot he yelled at on the sidelines, which he shouldn't have done, for
Was that
Is it Demercado?
what's the running back's name?
I thought it
Yeah.
was Maury Demercado or something.
Murray
Murray DiMercado.
He dropped the football before the touchdown and all that
Yeah.
weird stuff happened. They lost the game. Like, I know he's with the Eagles. Letters and logos. I know they taught it here, so I assume he teaches it in Arizona, and what that means, letters and logos, because either the team name is printed in the end zone or the logo is printed in the end zone. So that's what they're saying, letters and logos. That means hold on to the freaking football until you see
score.
the letters and logos.
Yeah.
That's on the player.
Jeff, you think the Eagles are cooked tonight if they lose?
No,
Oh.
because of their schedule. Because they're although we'll have fun tomorrow if they do lose, Xander. We're gonna have fun if they win. We're really gonna have fun if they lose.
Like, John, your ability to remain optimistic on this team has kind of blown my mind.
It's not.
John, you said earlier in the show, you're like, even if they lose tonight, don't overreact. I'm like,
Because
4 and 5.
Because they're winning. They're winning.
Stay if they lose tonight.
They are winning the NFC East. They are winning the NFC
I know
East.
they are. The one
I
of the worst
called it.
division.
I called it last week. It's over.
And that was before the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys, I don't know, man. They can't lose tonight. And that thing might come back into question, John.
Are we sure the Cowboys are going to go 4-0 to end the season?
The Eagles have won the NFC East. I'm not going back on that.
That's the Birds' projection. I guess I'll have to go down with the ship if that ends up not happening.
All right, Xander, who has a better chance to win their sporting event tonight? The Philadelphia Eagles against the Los Angeles Chargers, or the Boyertown Bears against the Norristown Eagles?
Unless you get Wyatt Reckner involved, is it what? No, Rayner, whatever the name is.
I like the Boyertown Bears tonight, Jeff. So, are you watching the game? You might not like it. You probably might.
Our game is at 6:30, so we should be back by probably sometime in the first quarter.
At least this some of the first quarter. Good stuff.
I said to John, I'm like, if I apologize if I'm not paying attention much in the first half.
Yeah, well, that's fine. All right, Jeff, man, your final thought here. It's a Monday Night Football. I think it's a must-win. I know it's not in theory. They're going to win the East, as John probably. They're probably going to get in the playoffs.
Projected.
I think it's a must-win.
AP just called the race as well.
Nah, KP ain't calling shit. The only thing you got to worry about
Associated Press. AP.
AP. Okay, I think he said KP. Jeff, your final thoughts here on a Monday.
Look, I agree with you, Xander. I think they do have to win tonight. Just kind of stop the bleeding. I think they are going to win tonight, but yeah, it's going to look bad if they're 8-5 tomorrow. I'm with John though. I still think they're going to win the division. They're going to be probably the 3 seed in the playoffs, but I think if you want any opportunity to stop the bleeding, get everything right, potentially, and look, I think if they win tonight, I think they're going to end up as at least the 2 seed in the NFC.
Jeff,
just because of their tiebreakers.
You want to run for office in Boyertown. The politicians answer. I agree with Xander here. I agree with John here.
Oh, no, I do. I don't think you two are wrong.
No. What's the score? What do you got? What do you got scored tonight?
I'll tell you what. I'll see the Eagles actually put up some points tonight. 27-23.
I like it.
I
like that score. I'm good.
We'll go that.
27-23 Philly. I got it written down. Jeff, Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. As always, make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr, PHL. Good luck to your Boyertown Bears tonight, my friend. Appreciate
It's a
you.
big game. It's a big game tonight. We're trying to go 2-2.
game.
So big
All right,
game.
go get it, Jeff.
Back over.
Make
Appreciate it,
sure
Yep, see you guys.
Embiid shouldn't play.
Oh yeah. We wouldn't take
You
him.
want to go
anyway.
2-2, and
We
Embiid should
wouldn't
not
take it on
play.
the Bears.
We're trying to move the ball here. We're trying to run. We're trying to cut and
So
stuff.
you don't
Embiid
want a
doesn't do
ball
that.
stopper?
We need
All
fast
right.
break offense here for the Bears.
Yeah, well, Joel would be the best player on the court. I just don't know if he'd be available.
Would he? I don't know. Well, maybe.
Oh,
Maybe a
man.
couple
All right,
years
Jeff.
ago.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
See you guys.
Later, dude. There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here on Bears 365. Great show there. Great stuff with Jeff Kerr. We appreciate him joining in as always. John, we got about 25 minutes left to play. Real quick, I did want to talk about we talked about some of it there with Jeff, but some of the NFL Week 14, John. I think 9 teams now have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. I will rattle them off to you. In the NFC, Giants eliminated, Commanders eliminated, Saints eliminated, Cardinals eliminated, and Falcons eliminated. And then the AFC side, you got the Titans eliminated, Raiders eliminated. That's the Eagles' opponent next week. Cleveland's eliminated, and the New York Jets are eliminated. That makes 9 football teams already eliminated from playoff contention. You got major fallers like the Indianapolis Colts. You have the NFC North, which has gotten interesting. It's good for the Eagles that the Bears lost yesterday, obviously, because of the seeding and the tiebreaker potential if the Eagles can go on a run here. Lions, Panthers, Cowboys on the bubble in the NFC. John, what do you make of the NFC, the NFL as a whole right now after what you saw on the weekend of games?
Well, yeah, those teams, some of them you mentioned, it's already, draft prep has started, so you never want to not be playing meaningful football in December. But, I just looked up one of the playoff predictors. The Eagles have a greater than 99% chance of making the playoffs. That means the NFC East. Everybody's calling it, not just me.
Wait, what was it? Greater than 99?
Yeah, greater than 99. So that's what happened, and that's the position they're in. They are not going to not make the playoffs, period. So that doesn't mean if you were to go back to 2023, they were also in that position. They made the playoffs because they did enough, and that's where they are now to go in to make the playoffs, and then they could lay an egg in the playoffs. So to me, this last 5 games is a little bit different in the fact that, you want to use those 5 games. You want to use that luxury of the NFC East being so poor to get yourself right over these final 5 games and play good football leading into the playoffs, and then try to make some noise in a situation, whether you're the 3 seed, the 2 seed, could even be the 1 seed if you run the table. Most likely not, but that's back in the table because Chicago lost. You have the tiebreakers. Very unlikely in that situation. But for that, if you want to talk about must wins, yes, today's a must win. In any other situation, it's not a must win. Because they're making the playoffs.
What about the collective vibe of the team?
Well, that's what the vibe money is for.
Well, that's what I mean. And if they lose again, that vibe bunny will be pop,
Well, I mean, again, how does it look? Is it a late game 57-yard Cameron Dicker field goal? Then
Yeah,
probably,
sure.
all right, they're disappointed, but no, it's not going to be devastating.
I've
If they
only
get
seen enough games, though, to project what it's going to look like if they lose. The offense isn't going to be able to move the ball consistently. They're going to look awful at best. The defense is going to bend but don't break, and they're going to break a couple of times. I mean, that would be my guess if they lose the game.
Well, there's a big difference between 24-23 and 28-10. If they lose 28-10, then I think you start to see some erosion and some confidence issues and some, what the F, we can't fix this issues. So I do think, it's about how they play more than wins and losses at this point, even though they have to win a couple, obviously. And really maybe only 1 at this point. But that was Yahoo. Some of them are 97%, whatever. They're going to win the NFC East. They're going to make the playoffs. how are they looking going into the playoffs? To me, is much more important.
Well, they haven't looked good so far, so they got 5 games to kind of clean it up a little bit. What's the expectation for Jalen Hurts tonight, John?
None. I never have any expectations, but I know that pisses people off. On paper, it doesn't look like the game to get going. This is a very good defense. They give up 275 yards a game. Pass defense is second, 168 per game. They have 16 sacks on third down, which is top 5 in the NFL. So they play big and high leverage situations. They have great players. Derwin James, one of the best defensive players in football, plays all over the place. Plays safety, plays slot, plays linebacker, even can play outside corner, even lines up as an edge rusher at times. One of the difficult things with the Chargers is figuring out, and that's what Devontae Smith said earlier this week. You got to figure he wears 3. He called him 3. His number's 3. You got to find out where 3 is and what he's doing. Because sometimes you think he's playing slot cornerback and he's really playing linebacker or vice versa. You got to figure out what he's doing on a particular play. I love those guys. One of my favorite players in the league. I always like positionless players. People talk about it, but they don't use it. They use it with Derwin James. And as I said, one of the best defensive players in football. So they have a very good defense. Their problems are on offense and injury related. Again, this to me would be a legitimate Super Bowl contender if Rashawn Slater didn't get hurt, Joe Alt didn't get hurt, and Justin Herbert didn't get hurt because his tackles are hurt, most likely. This is a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Now, as I mentioned, on the AFC side, it's like everybody could win. But they'd be in the conversation with Denver and everybody else we talked about, Buffalo and New England and Houston, Jacksonville, if you want to throw them in. And they're 8-4, just like the Eagles. But they got to get their quarterback healthy. And I mean, to me, that's this whole game. Like if Justin Herbert plays and isn't impacted to a great degree, I'm picking the Chargers. But I don't think I don't think that's possible. He might try to play, but he's not going to be 100%.
No.
And
he might not, ball, right? I mean, you can still throw the ball. Obviously.
Oh yeah, but he can't take. I do not think he'll be able to take snaps from under center, and that's a big part of their game. They're a big play action team,
right?
So, I mean, if he can't do that, what's the point?
Yeah, right. It's limiting. John, I want to go back to Jalen there. You mentioned something, where you don't have a lot of expectation. And I understand your perspective because you normally, at least this is my opinion, I don't want to speak for you, but you come at it from a practical, logical perspective of they're a running team, and when they don't run the ball, it's not going to look pretty, and that's what they have to get going. Eagles fans don't always see it like that, where if the running game's not going, okay, there's an expectation, whether right or wrong, from fans that the $51 million quarterback who people call elite and all the can make up for some of those things that aren't working. And I think it's perfectly fair to expect that. Now, if you don't get it, okay, it opens a can of worms up for a new conversation. But I think it's perfectly fair to expect it and have those expectations for a player that the city and the team has pushed to the top and kind of made the face of who they are and what they do.
Well, aren't the fans a part of that? If all the fans, and again, I go back to the off season and called him elite and said, well, he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's this, he's better than this guy. He's better than Justin Herbert, for instance. And I would tell them, well, he's not better throwing the football than Justin Herbert. It's not elite you can argue he's an elite from a holistic skill set, adding in everything he contributes, but he's not an elite passer. He never has been. And if people have those expectations, that's on them. As far as the Eagles propping up their quarterback, I mean, that's what teams do. You know, whether it's
I mean, don't be surprised when fans expect more from a player that, you know.
Well, I don't, you know, that's fine. But again, that's your own self-imposed expectations. I mean, anybody.
Self-imposed, though. The Eagles imposed it. They paid him like one of the best quarterbacks in football.
Well, that's like saying, you know, the Dolphins think Tua is one of the best quarterbacks in football.
Well, there's an expectation for him to be, and that's why people say he sucks, because he's not living up to it.
Well, and again, outside, but that's up to outside voices.
So Jalen's the only quarterback in the league then that shouldn't have any expectation. I mean, you know,
that's not at all what I said. I said, you know, he's not an elite passer, and if people think he is an elite passer because the Eagles paid him $50 million, that's on them. The Eagles paid him $50 million because he wins football games. And he wins football games. And how many times have I used the word unique? And not only because he wins football games, because that's the going rate in the NFL. That's why Tua got $50 million.
Yeah, I get that part of it. But with that does come expectation from fans. And when the running game doesn't work, whether right or wrong, fans are going to say, okay, Jalen, can you do something for us? Can you lift up the offense? Can you make up for some of the deficiencies week in and week out? That's all I think people are looking for, and I think that's a fair thing to look for.
Well, you know, and there are times when he can and times that are can. He's going to be inconsistent. Can he do it? Sometimes he plays very, very well. And sometimes he plays very, very poorly from a passing perspective. And, you know, that's been pretty consistent throughout his career. You know, he has ups, and the ups are pretty high, and that leads people to think that's going to continue from week to week to week. But again, I can only give you my opinion. I can't base my opinion on other people's expectations is all I'm trying to say.
I get that.
You know, I think I got a firm beat on this quarterback because I've seen him play so much and I've been around him every day since he's been here. And I know what he does well, and I know what he struggles with, or what, you know, and he's not. And I've said this pretty consistently, and I've gotten a lot of shit for it. He is not a high level passer in this league from a week to week basis. Not that he can't do it. You've seen him do it. And I think that complicates things for people.
Well, yeah, because people are never going to be okay with not expecting that. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, that, you know what I mean?
Like, well, that's fine.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying people are going to expect it, you know, whether right or wrong.
Yeah. And I can't, you know, it's the same thing I say with play calling. I say, you know, I can't judge play calling. You can't judge play calling. There's not a fan out there that can judge play calling in a realistic, you know, viewpoint, but I can't make people recognize that. Even though I've tried many times over the years and tried to explain the difference. You know, you can have a positive result with a bad play call, and you can have a negative result with a good play call. And that's an argument you ain't winning.
Fair enough.
But it's obvious to everybody in the game. They know exactly what I'm talking about. But, you know, people judge results. And that's why I talked about that Green Bay play by Keyshawn Nixon. And that's why I always say players over plays. They blew that coverage, and the player was good enough to make up for that blown coverage. And the other player blew the coverage, the linebacker. So is that a good defensive play call by Jeff Hafley or a bad defensive play call by Jeff Hafley?
If a touchdown happened to be a bad call, but because it didn't touchdown,
exactly,
it was a good call. You're right. John, how much does the loss of the two trench players, Lane Johnson and Jaylen Carter, mean for tonight's game? I mean, I think Lane's a big one, obviously, because They're a great pass defense. So the idea here would be get Saquon going. Going to be a little hard to get Saquon going without Lane Johnson in the football game, at least in my opinion. And then you have Jaylen Carter. Obviously, the Eagles gave up a massive run game last week. Jim Harbaugh likes to run the football. Now you're missing your best defensive tackle on the football team. So 2 trench players, maybe 2 of the best players on the Eagles football team, definitely 2 of the top 5 players on the Eagles football team, are out in the game. How much of an impact does it have?
Well, Lane always has a big impact when he's out. Typically, Jalen would as well. But again, the Jaylen Carter who was on the field against Chicago is not helping you. So to me, if he's injured to that point, again, maybe in the short term, that's a positive, actually. Not that in the long term, when he's healthy, it's not a positive. But again, he obviously couldn't perform up to his level with what was going on with his shoulder. So I kind of look at him a little bit differently than Lane, who was performing at a high level when he exited. Jalen's just not healthy right now. So in a weird way, it might be a little bit of an uptick, but you're not as good when you don't have a healthy Jaylen Carter on the field. But
do you think there's a rift right now between Jaylen Carter's representation and the Eagles with how they've handled Jaylen Carter?
Yes, to be blunt.
Yeah, because this seems to be the second game this year that the agent stepped in and didn't want him to play. If you remember,
and this dates back to the summer, which I've mentioned in the past.
Right.
He played a lot of snaps last year, a lot of snaps. And he's been dealing with this shoulder pain evidently since last season. And look, we know the cash cow he projects to be. And that's the part of the business of football that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it's real. And he's, again, you fast forward to this year, he's already dealing with this, and he's playing more snaps per game than any other interior defensive lineman in the NFL with these persistent shoulder issues. Now I remember going through this with Fletcher Cox, and it became a thing where every year the Eagles would say, all right, we got to manage his snaps a little bit. And then you get into close games. The Eagles weren't as dominant at that point, and you're basically another NFL team, and you're playing a bunch of one-score games, and you don't want to take your best player off the field in one-score games. So he ended up playing this inordinate amount of snaps year over year after year. And maybe that's why he retired a little bit when he still had some juice left in the tank, in theory. So it's tough. You don't want to take Jaylen Carter off the field. As I often bring up, he saved your season in the divisional round against the Rams. It's hard to say, all right, we're going to sit him, but I think they can do a better job managing it in the first half when he's healthy and say, all right, we're going to rotate. Even if we give up a drive, bend but don't break, we're going to rotate a little bit better. But it is.
Well, remember, they traded away a good depth piece in defensive tackle for an invisible cornerback who's barely touched the field this year.
Well, yeah, I mean that had a lot to do with Ty Robinson, who hasn't advanced as quickly as hoped.
Bad decisions stack up quick in the NFL, don't they, John?
Yeah, and Byron Young is, been okay, but he's going to have to play more. Ty, and then you have Gabe Hall still here. You have Taquan Graham, who they got on the practice squad. It's 5-year vet. So they have bodies, but you got to use them. And to your point, yes, because Drew Rosenhaus is Jalen's agent, and he knows what's coming. And already people are saying, well, is he going to get as much money? Because he's not having that type of season. Well, he's not having that type of season because he's not healthy, and he's not healthy because he played so much.
Right.
So fix that problem.
The business of football, man, will always come into play here. All right, John, let's get some super chats. We got about 7 minutes left in the show. John, what is your prediction for the game?
Whew. Boy, when the opposing quarterback, you have no idea what's showing up.
Yeah, right. It's really hard.
It is really hard to pick. If Justin Herbert's healthy, I'd pick the Chargers. I don't think he's healthy. Well, I know he's not healthy. I don't think he's going to be near 100%. So I've tilted back to the Eagles. Either way, it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to go 23-20 Eagles.
23-20 Eagles. All right, I like that score prediction. That's not bad. We're in a similar ballpark again. I'm going to go 27-23. No, Jeff Kerr had that. Damn, you guys both are right. I guess there's only so many scores to take for this Eagles team.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Trey Lance plays, I think the Eagles got to win 23-13 or something like that.
That's fun. All right, that's fair enough. I'll go 21-17. Birds win tonight. I don't think it's going to be a very high-powered offensive football game. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's get to some supers. John, before I get to a super, I want to address one of these comments. This is a very popular narrative across the fan base, and as we like to do here on Birds 365, we like to either give credence to them or completely cut them out at the legs. Here's Ricardo. I don't know if you watch the show. I never even seen you in here. John, cut the bullshit. JH cannot be a high-volume passer for Nick Sirianni. A complex offense makes it easier on the quarterback and harder on the opposing defense. Keep it real and talk about the coaches. So, John, this is a common theme, though, across the fan base, that they believe that Jalen's not a limited passer. He's a limited passer because the offense is not complex. And every time another film guy puts up a video, look how non-complex the offense is. People put that as a bullet in their gun to say that's why Jalen is struggling in the passing game. What do you say to that narrative? I don't agree with it, but it is a narrative that's major in the fan base.
Wants to protect the player. I'm used to it. It doesn't affect me. Every great coach will tell you the same thing. Every single great coach. Players over plays. Players over plays. Try to explain it with Keyshawn Nixon. Try to explain it all the time with the Eagles.
Would
Eagles
a complex
will
offense help Jalen Hurts?
No, come on. That's insanity. Insanity. They can't even line up with the offense they run. How many pre-snap penalties? As you know, listen to Chris Sims's rant. I know they don't want to listen to Chris Sims's rant, but it encapsulates everything I'm talking about for 18 months to 24 months. You think Nick Sirianni was hired because he had 5 plays?
Yeah.
That's what he said. Go watch. Who's this? Ricardo. Go watch Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis. Go watch Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. Even go watch Jacoby Brissett in Indianapolis. You'll see 3 different offenses built around the quarterbacks. That's what good coaches do. They build around the quarterback they have to accentuate the strengths that quarterback has. The Eagles' winning percentage will tell you they've done a pretty good job of that over the years.
The offense is built to largely take the ball out of Hurts' hands, no?
No, I don't agree with that either. Well, first of all, the ball's always in his hands. Like there's so much good, and people turn off and they hear that what they think, what they perceive to be negative. I've said pretty consistently, Jalen Hurts is a top-level NFL quarterback. Whether that's, more in the 8 to 12 range, 8 in good years, 12 in bad years. I've used that kind of sliding scale. It can always change. Obviously his best year was 2022. And, but he's always been a very good NFL quarterback since he broke through. Part of that is he doesn't turn the football over. And that, number one, because that is there's been a little bit of a blip in that with 2 turnovers in back-to-back games, the Eagles have to get back into their, keen ball security edge. And as I explained, even with a truly poor quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, if you don't turn the football over, you're going to be in the game. So that's number one. But he's got the unique ability to make plays in big situations. He's got the unique ability to extend plays. He's got, especially in high leverage situations, that knack for moving the chains no matter what it takes. There's a ton of good with Jalen Hurts, but to sit there and explain, well, you can run the same offenses, Joe Burrow when he's healthy and clicking with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that's silly. That's silly. But whether it's Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, if you want to consider Nick Sirianni a good coach or a bozo, players over plays.
Good stuff. Let's keep rolling here. A couple other super chats. Kimberly, what's up, Kimberly? I saw this. Kirby and Saban interviewed on College Game Day. Kirby threw a shot at Jalen. He said to Saban, paraphrasing, he learned to not be afraid to play a backup quarterback. So Nick did ask him what, these high leverage games. And his response.
I'm misunderstanding what was said.
High leverage games. How do you manage some of the stuff that you can't plan for? And Kirby said to him, I learned from you, or you learned that you got to not be afraid to play your backup quarterback to win a game. So basically,
okay. So he's going back to mention
in a high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what happened to Jalen in Alabama is that relevant. I mean, obviously, it was it worked out for Alabama. It was not great for Jalen Hurts, but he's grown so much since then. He went to Oklahoma. He
still
played.
a similar problem, John. I don't agree with you that it doesn't. Anybody who watched Bama, they were 26-2 with Jalen as a starter. He won a boatload of games. He was a great Alabama quarterback. His problem was getting the ball to the playmakers and pushing the ball downfield consistently.
I understand that part of it,
yeah.
And I understand, but college is a different landscape than the pros.
Absolutely,
you can't have two quarterbacks. You can't have the more conservative style is not working in this particular game because of the opponent and go to Tanner McKee. You can't do that in the pros. We could, but it's not going to work out too well. So that's what I mean. I don't think it's that relevant other than I'm sure it was, not sure. He's talked about it many times. I am sure that it had an impact on him and, put a chip on his shoulder and all that kind of stuff. That was a very good decision to go to Oklahoma and be able to open up a little bit. And that got him on the NFL radar more. And then he continued to grow from there. Again, he's a very good quarterback. He's just unique and he's not conventional. So I think when people think quarterbacks, they think pocket, they think throwing the football. That's just what they think of as a quarterback. They think Justin Herbert. They think Joe Burrow. Quarterbacks like that. He doesn't have the capability to play like them. What people miss, and I say all the time, and listen to this, they don't have the ability to play like him.
Yeah, but what play style is more advantageous at the professional
For the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, this play style is more advantageous. For the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert.
What about in the NFL? What about in the NFL?
More teams, Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. So if you took all through 32 teams, they would be better fits for more teams than Jalen Hurts. But for the Eagles, because the Eagles have built their offense around Jalen Hurts is a better fit.
I guess.
They got a lot of pass catchers here that are not really feasting. How many times have I told you, Zander, not a lot of teams want to play the Eagles play?
No, you've said that a lot, and I agree. I completely understand what you're saying. But what I don't agree with is that the team is built perfectly. I mean, the team is amazing.
Perfect. There's no team built perfect.
I just mean like it's built to also have a passer. I mean, that they have amazing pass catchers. They have one of the best pass catching tight ends. They have two amazing receivers. Even if you think they've taken a step back, they're two amazing receivers. I mean, the fact that it feels like we got to scratch our nails across a chalkboard to get him the ball sometimes feels crazy to me. Let's rattle through these, though.
Well, they have the 23rd ranked passing offense. Now, again, that's not good. I mean, that means there's 9 teams worse. And again, you can take out the outliers. You can say that the game against Minnesota, he has the ability to do it in certain games. It's just not going to be consistent from week to week.
Fair enough. Here's Kimberly again. What's up, Kimberly? Notre Dame join the conference. Yeah, they might have to. Pumper says this game got L written all over it. Anyone who thinks otherwise is foolish. This team is freaking cheeks, but everyone keeps hyping up these cheeks.
What Pumper's got him at 0-13, doesn't he? This game's got L written. I feel like I hear that every week.
Yeah, I think he has said every week it's going to be an L. Caleb says, I'm in LA for the game. Post game will be lit. Caleb, nice, brother. Enjoy the game. Hopefully they don't drop a stinker for you. Here's Riot. Last one. Somebody needs to call the FBI on Stefanski. Those 2-point tries were egregious. They were terrible.
I didn't see them. I guess I got to watch it. I didn't see what happened because it was like such an irrelevant game. That was like the two games they didn't go to a lot were Cleveland and Tennessee and Minnesota and Washington, and rightfully so. I mean, they're not relevant. So, yeah, I got to watch it. But Judkins is probably their best playmaker. So if they ran Wildcat for 2, I don't have a problem with that. But if it doesn't work, it looks shitty. I mean, But what if you're being honest. Would you rather have Judkins on a wild? And I don't even know if that's what happened. If they ran it or Shador trying to throw in a
goofy. I know that it was something goofy.
Shador trying to throw in a condensed space rather than Judkins. I take Judkins. I do that.
All right. Well, fair enough. All right, John, your final thoughts here on the show today. We got the game tonight. We'll talk to you on the pregame show. What's the agenda? I guess nothing, right? Because it's a game day, so you'll go down there probably a little later on. And then we'll talk to you later on.
Game's in Los Angeles, so I'm not going down
there.
Oh,
right.
Now they're out in Los Angeles. So
I completely forgot about that. They flew out there last night, I think.
Yeah. Marcus Epps, I should mention that was they waived Xavier Gibson yesterday. That creates the spot. They'll add Marcus Epps before the game. He is expected to start at safety. So Sidney Brown lost his job in one game. And we'll see if Marcus can keep it. One thing he should add is that, he's a very smart player. Communication should be better. Guys should be lined up. You have 2 safeties, but maybe not the most athletic with Reed Blankenship and Marcus Epps back there as well. So Keenan Allen still performing at a high level. I know, one of Nick Sirianni's favorite players ever. What a great player. Ladd McConkey, great. That might be the most interesting matchup. Ladd McConkey against Cooper DeJean. Keep an eye on that because that's strength versus strength. But of course, if you don't have Justin Herbert, it's hard to take advantage of that. And Quentin Johnson is a big play guy who will drop the football. So maybe he'll make a big play.
Trey Lance can't do shit, can he? I think he's only played 5 NFL games, hasn't he?
No, yeah, it's not. He's thrown 13 passes this year.
Does it give you Jim Harbaugh, Kaepernick vibes? Remember, he did a great job with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, he did, but I think teams have remember he took everybody by surprise with that.
This is a different NFL.
Everybody's used to it now, so I don't think it would have nearly as much. I think if Trey Lance is out there, though, it's a big Vidal Hampton game. I think they're just going to try to run it like JJ McCarthy's playing quarterback in Michigan.
Exactly right. They might have Trey Lance running it too, man. I think he.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But all right, John, good show, man. We'll talk to you on the pregame show later on today. All right, brother.
All right, thanks all.
All right, thanks, Jim Mac. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining us right here on Birds 365. Go give him a follow at JF McMullen. Appreciate everybody being here. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is that the Eagles play football today. The bad news is that your boy Big Z has to get out of here and will not have a long Xander time today. I have an appointment at 10:30. I smashed the tooth and I have to go get my tooth fixed. So I smashed the tooth and I have to go get my tooth fixed, which is absolutely brutal. It's cutting up my mouth. It's fucking brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So I got that appointment at 10:30. So it's 10:08. I got to get the hell out of here. But I do want to take a couple comments and a couple things I wanted to mention today. The NCAA, the playoff bracket, I think the whole thing is botched. I'm a Bama guy, and I don't view it as like Bama should have definitely been in, but I hate when teams like Tulane and JMU get in, not because I'm a hater of them, just because I'm like, I want to watch the best college football. Notre Dame should have been in. I could see an argument for Texas being in. I think those teams should be in. These guys got to be in. So, it is what it is, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens with it. As far as the Eagles game, I think the Birds should win the game tonight. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this freaking team, guys. I'm like done projecting what the team is going to do. Does anybody really know what the hell this team is going to do? No, nobody really knows what the team is going to do. So we'll see tonight. They should win. I think the bunny is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I can't believe John thought it was dope. I mean, John's like, yeah, I like the positivity bunny. I'm like, what? Stupidest thing I've ever seen. They put a bunny in they're a professional football team. They put a bunny in the locker room because they're all not in a good mood. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But it is what it is. And then Shedeur Sanders, the last thing I want to talk about. I couldn't disagree with John more on Shedeur Sanders. I'm not trying to tell you he's going to be the greatest quarterback in the world. All right, that's not what I'm saying. But the kid has clearly showed promise. And when you're a coach and you have a quarterback in the game, you have to ride with your quarterback. All right, he led you down the field. You go on a touchdown drive. You get into the end zone. You have a chance there to tie the game up, and you put the guy on the fucking bench. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Stefanski, the way he's handled this, he has made himself, to me, look like a total asshole. A total asshole. And to be honest with you, undeserving of a head coaching job. And if you can't put away your personal biases and build or help a player who's on the football field, you don't deserve to be a head coach of a team. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I don't really care what you think of Shedeur, whether you like him or you hate him. The kid had 400 yards of offense and 4 touchdowns yesterday. I don't give a fuck about his PFF grade. He had no offseason time to prepare. He got 0 reps with the first team. He's in his 3rd ever NFL game for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, when's the last time a quarterback has succeeded in Cleveland? So, I don't know. I think that whole thing is a bad look for Stefanski, in my opinion. I think he looks like an asshole. I think Stefanski looks like a stone-cold asshole. I mean, Shedeur's throwing the ball over the yard there. You guys watch that throw he threw up the seam in the middle of the field? That was a layered, tough throw. I mean, he dotted that ball. Shedeur has made some really nice throws. So I've been a Shedeur guy since the draft. I like Shedeur Sanders. I like the bravado. I like everything. I like the confidence. I like the swagger. I got no problem with it. I do. I like it. I think some of that's good. And by the way, I'm the same way with A.J. Brown. When everyone's telling A.J. Brown, oh, don't speak up. Oh, put you in a box. Don't speak. I'm the same way with Shedeur. Shut the fuck up. Did anybody really think that Deion Sanders' kid was not going to have a little bit of swagger and confidence and bravado to him? Did anybody really think that Deion Sanders' son, who is now a quarterback in the National Football League, wasn't going to have that type of swagger and confidence? Come on. It's Deion's son. Enjoy it, man. Football is entertainment. Football, there's a lot that goes into football. I think it's cool the way he handles it. So, all right, I got to run, man. I got to go to the dentist. I got to fix my damn tooth. That gets done today. Nightmare. I broke it on Friday, and that's where I had to go Friday, remember? So I went in on Friday. They gave me a temporary little thing, and they're like, all right, book your appointment. I'm like, I got the game on Monday, but do I want to do it Monday? I'm going to be tired after, so I got to go to the damn dentist. Brutal. All right. I hate the doctor's office. I hate the dentist office. I hate these offices. I hate them. So, love all you guys. Appreciate it. Sorry we can't have a longer Zander time. I will do a longer Zander time tomorrow. All right. I will do longer, even with short rest. I will do a nice long Zander time tomorrow. We'll break down the game. We'll talk about it. and then we will see what happens. What does everybody got tonight? Who you got? I got 2 minutes. Who you got? Eagles, Chargers. Eagles, Chargers. Who you got? Steven says, Zander, I have the Chargers winning. Oof. Cleveland playing to lose. I agree, Rico. Eagles winning. Steven's got the Chargers winning. 24-7 Birds. Real Rich has the Birds. I don't think that's happening. Birds lose 31-12. I don't think that's happening. David says the Giants. I don't want that. 21-17 Birds. Birds ugly 2017. Howard, I like that score. Underdogs got the Chargers winning 27-20. Birds win 31-23. Eagles 23, Chargers 14. All right, there's still a lot of Eagles picks in here. A lot of Chargers picks too. Birds 24-10, Birds 24-13. Two the JAKIB ZK 20-17. Chargers. Yeah, I gotta get that. I gotta get this. So there's a temporary crown, I guess, and then they like send it through a lab, and now in like a week and a half, I gotta get a permanent crown. I'm like, whatever, man. Whatever. Fucking nightmare. I got to go take care of myself, though. I can't let that shit get out of hand. All right. Love all you guys. Appreciate it, man. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.